I also hold the strong view that the charges are malicious and politically motivated. They are aimed at settling political scores with my father by the current regime. Evidence in this regard will be led during the trial. Suffice at this stage that I am confident that a case of malicious prosecution will be well and easily established against the National Prosecuting Authority at the appropriate stage. I have instructed my legal representatives to pursue that action. 9. It is plainly nonsensical and petty to interpret words which are used, such as, quote, "I see you," unquote, to mean that the people referred to or were influenced by my social media commentary. The mere fact that it has taken the state almost 4 years to work out whether a small number of social media messages constitute, quote, "terrorism," unquote, speaks for itself and is an indication that the NPA is clutching at straws with a very weak case.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to another political talk whereby we talk what is trending and what is happening in the political space in South Africa. I welcome you to join me as we'll be indulging in these politics. So what's happening? So we know that Duduzile Zuma had appeared at the magistrate in Durban to prove her innocence. But you know, there's a man called Paul O'Sullivan. Paul O'Sullivan is a private prosecutor and an investigator of crimes. Is the one who has given to the NPA some evidence to say that Duduzile Zuma, she needs to be prosecuted of the crimes committed in the 2021 July unrest. And he has said to be asked that what proof do you have that Duduzile is the instigator of terrorist or terrorism attacks in South Africa? So you must understand, right, that this case has been changed from inciting violence using social media to inciting terrorist attacks against the states. So that's how this case has been changed. And the man, Paul, said that this will be the first time that the person will be charged in accordance of inciting the act of terrorism using social media, Instagram, X platform, formerly known as Twitter, and Facebook, right? And the person who arrived there at the scene was the first people among those who arrived was Duduzile Zuma. So we know Duduzile Zuma is a twin brother to Duduzile, and he cried foul and said that this plot is continuing. The persecution of the Zumas is continuing. The first started with him, you remember, when he was attending the case of being the accused of corruption.
As you know, a lot of core challenges that our family has had over the years. My father, myself, my sister, and others. It's nothing new, and we're here to find out exactly what the charges are, what the case is, and whether it'll proceed or not. But we're confident as always, and we're looking forward to another challenge in our family chapter.
How has she been?
She's been cool. You know, she's a cool customer. You know, it's not a nice thing. You know, no one likes to be in the spotlight in this sort of scenario. But you know, it is what it is. We'll take it as it comes.
Earlier on, the Hawks confirmed that the charges she will be facing are something along the lines of, I can't remember the long one, but I think it's terror-related charges and incitement to commit violence. So those are the charges, and this is in connection with the 2021 July unrest. Those are the charges. What do you have to say about that?
So those are the charges, and that's why we're here. We'll see what the charges hold or not, and that's what this is about. We appreciate the work that the NPA, the Hawks, SAPs do. But on the other hand, there are people that are also human beings that need to be treated accordingly. So we'll see who wins at the end of the day. I'm confident, quietly so. But this isn't a necessary step, and we'll take it as it comes. And to all the people doing the good work in our justice system, keep up the good work. And to those who are persecuting some of us, take it easy. The more you do it, the less credible you become.
So we know that it moved now to Jacob Zuma, whereby he was incarcerated without standing trial. And now we know that it is Duduzile. So what did Dalimpofu say there? So the first hearing was about to open the case, whereby she started at the Durban police station to open. So formally the NPA will charge her with committing this crime. So there was a case opened before the appearing in the court, and then after that they moved, and there was a court session whereby the state or the constitutional people who are charging her laid their formally complaint to say, this is what we are charging you of, right? And the lawyer that's representing Duduzile, which is Dalimpofu, had to respond to say that, but these are just 5 to 6 tweets. It is something that can be discussed now and get it done just right now. It is not something that will need close to 5 years or more than 4 years of investigation, right? And you don't come to conclude on it of what is happening, because these are just tweets that we're saying, we see you, we see you. And you know that Paul O'Sullivan, he knows that these tweets, the messages which are written there, is that we see you there, we see you there, and this is what he had to say, talking for himself here.
By 2021, what we managed to do, we forensically downloaded her Twitter account, her Instagram account, and her Facebook account. And the forensic downloads that we made were handed over to the state, together with a complaint where we alleged that her conduct went above and beyond what one might call freedom of speech, because the Constitution gives you the right to freedom of speech, but the Constitution also makes it clear that that freedom of speech should not extend to inciting persons to break the law. And our allegations were that she, in fact, was inciting people to do the things that were going on at that moment in time, which was horrific. You know, a lot of people died, and there were buildings being looted and burnt, and trucks being burnt. And wherever there was some positive arson or violence going on that she felt comfortable with, she would issue a tweet that said, for example, "Mooi River, we see you." And there'd be pictures of burning of vehicles or people lying down, and you're not sure whether the people lying down are deceased persons or what they are. And then she would send another tweet like, "Gauteng, we can't see you. Mpumalanga, we can't see you." And all of these tweets were followed with "Free Jacob Zuma" or "Free Umshalozi." So it was clear that she was motivating that this would carry on until Jacob Zuma was freed. And with all the things that were going on in the country at that time, I was of the opinion that she was stoking the fires, and that's not a pun, that she was inciting people to do these things. So we used a few examples of what we considered to be unlawful activity. And then we also set out chapter and verse as to which offenses we believe would have been committed. And I think I said that to the then chief of police, which was Kekla Sitoli, and to Shamila Batowi. And both of them responded fairly rapidly. And then we did more research and we supplied more information, which was requested as and when it was requested. So I'm satisfied that we made out a reasonable case.
So if Duduzile is to be charged because of some tweet somewhere or some Instagram post, it means a lot of people who also posted the similar things will have to be charged too with some acts of terrorism, because there were a lot of people who were commenting in this country. Others were positive, others were negative, others they were against what was happening, others they were in support of what was happening on social platform. So basically what I'm saying, you can't charge only one person with the same act that also I have committed, right? So as a private investigator, they will need now to go back and search a lot of accounts which were negative, because it did say that the data was downloaded from her account, all her social media accounts, and they have proof as private investigators, and they've given that proof to the NPA to further charge her. So meaning there are a lot of people that needs to be charged, especially those who are supporting the looting, who are promoting it, who are posting about it. So they will have to be charged. Unless if this will be like one of the biased, one-sided, then maybe we'll agree that this is a propaganda. And another thing that he's misjudging is that you can't expect Duduzile Zuma to act different than the rest of us, because now she's a daughter who's fighting for the right of her father. Anyone will protect his or her parents. And she was in that position of protecting, right, her dad at the time. So to judge her like the rest of us will be something totally different. But to go to an extent that she was the one now who was behind these crimes and these evil, this looting, it is something else. Was she behind it? Was she the one promoting it? How many people were posting about it? Because all social media's accounts were buzzing because of this. So how many people were promoting it? How many media houses were reporting on it, were promoting it? Right? Because now this gives us a view that anything that is in the public domain has been promoted to further some agenda. So to her, she was still protecting her father. So to say that now you call her evil and you say that now you are charging her with terrorism, it is another level. And let me tell you something. There's something that was said by Lindiwe Sisulu, accusing the courts of being captured and saying that people must be aware of the courts. Because basically what she was saying is that the courts are used to settle political battles and political scores. And you know how the courts have been used to target black politicians, while all those who are milking the countries of its minerals, its resources, and who are corruption, big white-owned businesses, and they are not being persecuted. The courts are not going after them. Not even one of them we have seen overheard that those people were persecuted. But when it comes to black politicians, including now their children are involved, they go after them and they persecute them, knowing very well who was the instigator of all this July unrest. A lot of things were involved. Hunger was involved, poverty was involved, the high rate of unemployment was involved. People are hungry, people are desperate. And you remember that guy who went there, I think it was ShopRite, who was eating cake. It showed that people were hungry. This was the best opportunity for them to start invading, breaking down, and just looting food. And we saw people trying to load plasma screens, people were stealing fridges, and there were a lot of things that was involved. You can tell that South Africa is a nation that is mostly has poverty. Many people are stricken with poverty, and when they responded to this, they saw an opportunity for them to loot and to steal for their personal gain. Now, to take this and just you call one lady who lives somewhere in Uganda and say that she was the one who was inciting the acts of terrorism. I think you are missing the mark big time. I think these investigators are just biased like that. Why I say so is because there were talks after this. There were talks of people who were accusing another family to say that this family, there's proof that they were using their transport, their cars, to take people and to go there in the highways, in the malls, to burn trucks, to burn the malls, and to destroy property. And the leader of that family did make a call to say anyone who has proof or who wants to challenge them, that he must come forward. And you kept silent. You didn't do anything. But you've heard that now these ones were the ones who are capable of committing the acts of terrorism.
Nothing of that sort. Two last Fridays, one known gentleman here who runs a transport industry in the north of Durban went to one site with 12 armed people last week. Not the very last Friday, the other one, on a Friday. 12 armed people. Bephethe inhloko hlela. Zoyibhama. Yeah. Niyalazi igama lakhe njengoba nihlelelana nje niyazi ukuthi nani niyamsaba njengoba nihleli lapha. Bakona laba abahleli laba bamsaba lo muntu. Yes, bamsaba. Abasukume phela abalibiza igama lakhe. Ngeke.
That there is this thing that we are the relatives of Mr. Zuma. And therefore, because we are the relatives of the former president, then people have got this notion and this thing in their heads that we might be sponsoring the violence or we might be financing it or whatever. I can't really tell you where this thing comes from, but we think our biggest sin is that one, that because of the relationship that we've got with the Zuma family and the former president and his family, therefore people have got this thinking in their head and this assumption, but which is not true. We've got nothing to do with anarchy, looting, theft, and anything that is happening right now.
So Dani Mpofu said that this is a political plot, as this is concerning to 5 to 6 tweets, which he claimed that it can be something that can be discussed now and get it overdone with now. Then the judge postponed the case to 20 March, but now said that it is going to the High Court. So it means it is a serious case that this lady is facing, right? So the people they at Umkhonto weSizwe, the leadership, cried foul. They were saying that this is a political vendetta, this is a political assassination. They were saying that this is a political plot. So what Dali presented there in court, it is what the leaders of the MK party outside, when they were talking to their members, they said this is a political plot. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, or you can leave your comment on the section below. Until we meet on the next video, and I'm out.